Before I get started, I just want to clear something up. So the last video had a few, shall we say, logical errors. And these were pointed out to me in the comments, which for those of you who did point them out, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I just want you to know that as I find my way through YouTube, I'll become more conscious of the information I'm circulating around the internet, and yeah. Anyways, this video is a special one. I'm starting a new series on the channel called End of an Era, where I take a look at the 3 straight Super Bowls that the Patriots dynasty appeared in before the departure of Tom Brady in the 2020 offseason. Over the course of the next 3 videos, we'll be taking an in-depth look into Super Bowls 51, 52, and 53, and I'll be breaking down why this stretch of 3 Super Bowls was the perfect way to cap off a dynasty. Yes, I'll even be attempting to convince you why Super Bowl 53 wasn't one of the most boring games in history. I'm gonna end up making a fool out of myself, aren't I? But hey, I guess that's just the prize for the people who stick around for every video. You get to see a 14-year-old Indian kid crash and burn on the internet. Also, I'd like to make one thing clear. I'm a Patriots fan. Have been since 2016. So if anything I'm saying sounds a bit biased, please rage in the comments. It's always been a personal dream of mine to be popular enough to get trolled. This of course is directed at the total of the 120 people that watch my videos, but yeah. I just thought I'd give you an update on what's next for the coming 4 to 5 weeks on the channel. And without further ado, let's get started with this series. We're starting off with a bang in part 1. It's the storied Super Bowl 51. Between the debate of some of the greatest Super Bowls to ever be played, Super Bowl 51 stands high on every ranking. Whether you're a person who just regards this game as the greatest Super Bowl ever, or a person who simply thinks it's overrated, in other words a Falcons fan, I think we can all agree that Super Bowl 51 is in the hunt for the mantle of the greatest Super Bowl of all time. If not in the top spot, at least in the conversation for top 4 or 5. And today, I'll do my best to try and prove that to you. So without further ado, let's go. Super Bowl 51 was hosted by NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, which is incidentally the closest the Texans have ever been to a Super Bowl. Let me set the stage for you. The atmosphere is slowly building in the arena that would host the battle for NFL supremacy, and Super Bowl 51 was finally coming to life after what seemed like an eternity of 2 weeks for both sets of supporters. For the Patriots, they were looking to win their 5th ever Super Bowl title as Brady aimed to break the tie he currently shared with the great Joe Montana for the most Super Bowl rings by a quarterback. As for the Falcons, at the end of 60 minutes, they were looking to walk away with their first Super Bowl ring in just 2 separate appearances. Also, they wanted to erase the memory of their absolute execution at the hands of the Broncos last time, because Jesus Christ. But to truly understand how these 2 teams got here, well, that requires a bit of a rewind. It's May 11th, 2015, and the NFL has finally seen a prosecution measure for one of its most controversial scandals, Deflategate.
Deflategate.
The Patriots have been fined a grand total of $1 million, and Tom Brady has officially received a 4-game suspension. A horrible incident, and a definite blemish on the portfolio of Brady as an NFL player. New England would have to start the first quarter of their season without their main man, and things were not looking good at all for the Patriots organization. However, the slogan "Do your job" shone brightest in this area of the Patriots season. With Brady forced to sit on the sidelines, it was backup quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo's turn to be in the spotlight. The man who'd spent 2 entire years observing from the meadow finally got his chance. It didn't take long at all for him to impress either. With help from 243 passing yards and a missed field goal, the Patriots came up with a morale-boosting opening game win. However, in the next game, things would take a turn for the worse, with Garoppolo's injury. His replacement, Jacoby Brissett, led the team to a shutout victory against the Texans in Week 3, and then a loss to the Bills in Week 4. So overall, without Brady, the Patriots had done pretty alright. Given the situation that they were in, they'd risen to the occasion quite magnificently, and 3-1 was a great base for Brady's return the following week. Brady took over the starting position after his 4-game exodus with a bang, beating the Cleveland Browns 33-13. Things were starting to look awry after Gronkowski's injury and the loss against the Seahawks, but regardless, he ensued on a run of dominance throughout the league, putting up MVP caliber numbers, and posted the league's best TD-INT ratio over a single season. His final stat line was 268 for 400, 3,554 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Yeah, that's right. He threw just 2 interceptions over 12 games. Brady silenced his critics and the haters for like the 50 millionth time in his career, and his amazing performance coming back from what could have been a career-ending suspension was enough for the Patriots to stomp ruthlessly on all who faced them en route to a 14-2 regular season record. The playoffs were much of the same deal, and the Patriots cruised through to the Super Bowl with extremely convincing wins against the Texans and the Steelers. And now they were here, Super Bowl 51. The Falcons season, however, didn't sail quite as smoothly as that of the Patriots. They began their term with a loss to the Jameis Winston-led Buccaneers in Week 1. Then 3 straight wins against the Raiders, Saints, and Panthers improved them to a 3-1 record. However, defense was a concern as they were averaging more than 30 points per game being given up going into Week 5. Even if Matt Ryan had begun his MVP surge, there were still some longing questions that had to be answered. They picked up probably one of their best wins of the season on the road to the Broncos the following week, but then lost to Seattle in grueling fashion. Things got even worse after a completely unexpected overtime loss to the Chargers brought their record down to 4-3. Ryan and company were back to the peak of their powers in the next 2 games, overpowering the defenses of the Packers and Buccaneers to get their season back on track. However, the Philadelphia Eagles stymied their progress, holding the explosive offense to just 15 points overall. The Falcons came out of their bye week with a win over Arizona, but then collected their 5th loss in the following game against the Chiefs. This, however, would be the last loss that the Falcons would have to their name, as the Matt Ryan and Julio Jones-powered offense bulldozed their way through the Panthers, Saints, Rams, and 49ers. The team's offense was the main talking point and considered a figurehead in their widespread success. The understated defense managed to step up as well, making sure the Falcons didn't lose any steam moving into the playoffs. They won 36-20 against the Seahawks in the divisional round of the NFC playoffs, and absolutely steamrolled the Packers in the championship game. It hadn't been an easy road at all, but the Falcons had rallied their troops to go on a 6-game winning streak and secure a spot in one of the biggest sporting events on the planet. And now they too were here. Super Bowl 51. So now we have our 2 teams, the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons. It had neither been a conventional road nor an easy one for either of these teams, but they'd made it. On one side we had Tom Brady, the man who had returned from suspension, who was assumed to be done, to be washed, and had proceeded to pick up exactly where he left off without a hitch. And then there was Matt Ryan, the most valuable player of the league who'd rallied his team around him to make it to the summit in which 1 game separated him from immortality. 2 star-studded offenses sporting names like Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, Julio Jones, and Mohamed Sanu, and 2 defenses that knew how to get the job done and get the job done well. And it all came down to this: 1 final game. As both teams entered the field and got on with the pre-game formalities, the sounds in the stadium were electric. Brady shared an emotional moment with his mother, Galen, who was attending her first game of the 2016 season due to her battle against breast cancer. The years of experience on the Patriots side of the ball met the electrifying youth of the Atlanta Falcons. The 2 quarterbacks were ready, the 2 coaches were ready, the 2 sets of fans were ready. The Jets flew by, the national anthem was sung, and the coin was flipped, in the end resulting in New England getting the ball to start. Matt Bosher pounded the ball into the air, and 2 weeks of anticipation were finally about to be put to rest. A bit of a drab start to the game for the Patriots as Tom Brady went 3-and-out to start. However, as both teams looked to win the battle for the first Super Bowl points, it would take a few drives to reach this goal. The drive after the Patriots 3-and-out started off with a bang, a pitch to Devontae Freeman for 45 yards from the goal line for the Falcons, and instantly the Patriots were slapped in the face with this team's offensive capability. The same offensive capability that had led the league in points scored. However, it ended up not amounting for much as Ryan got sacked for a big loss that ended their drive scoreless. The Patriots were starting to engineer a good drive following their previous failed possession, but alas, the Falcons' pass rush was too much to handle and Brady was sacked twice. The next Falcons possession ended with a punt as well, and with the first quarter in the books, the 2 teams remained even-keeled at 0-0. Only the 8th scoreless first quarter of a Super Bowl ever. Try as the Patriots might, the offense couldn't find much in the second quarter either. A fumble by LeGarrette Blount jeopardized a drive that probably could have seen the Patriots coming back with at least 3 points, but nevertheless the ball was in the hands of Matt Ryan, and it was in this quarter, or more specifically in this drive, that the Falcons finally managed to break through. The Ryan to Jones connection molded this drive as the Falcons were able to control their possession marvelously, looking as they did for the entirety of the season. Ryan found Jones twice on 2 incredible plays to take the Falcons into the red zone. Their desperate search for points was finally triumphant in this drive, as Devontae Freeman capped it off with a perfect cut and run, leaping into the end zone untouched. 6 points to Atlanta's side of the scoreboard. The following drive from the New England Patriots was also carried through to no avail as the Falcons' offense got the ball back into their hands almost immediately. And as most rational NFL fans know, when the momentum is on the side of the league MVP, he rarely disappoints. With a myriad of confidence from the last scoring drive, the Falcons are able to move down the field once more. Ryan with big connections to receivers like Taylor Gabriel and another insane toe tap from Julio Jones kept the chains moving. The drive was ultimately capped off with an immaculate catch from Austin Hooper. Atlanta scores touchdown number 2, and with 8:48 remaining in the second quarter, New England needed some sort of spark to get going. Again, the Patriots moved down the field, Brady throwing a couple passes to Michael Bennett for first downs, 1 pass to Julian Edelman later, and the Patriots are in the Falcons' 24-yard line. Brady takes the snap, surveys, and throws the ball. straight into the hands of Robert Alford, who picks it off and takes it all the way to the end zone, making Tom Brady and the Patriots fall flat on their faces, both literally and figuratively. 21-0 Atlanta. Now New England has problems. Big problems. With a little less than 2 minutes left on the clock, the Patriots push for one last scoring attempt before halftime. They get it, but not a touchdown, just 3. Stephen Gostkowski kicks the game into a 21-3 scoreline going into halftime. The two teams race into the tunnel, one extremely happy while the other trudges along, dejected by the almost irreversible result that they've created for themselves. As the second half commenced, the two teams each had one scoreless possession within the span of just 3 minutes. Nothing was going right for the Patriots. They couldn't find any sort of inspiration or rhythm on offense despite searching everywhere. The Falcons moved down the field on their next possession. Ryan finds Gabriel for a huge gain, and Julio Jones for another first down to move the sticks. Finally, he screens the ball to Tevin Coleman, who takes it in for the Atlanta touchdown. Now the Falcons have finally moved us into one of the most iconic scorelines in NFL history. It's officially 28-3. The Atlanta team is going wild in complete contrast to the sullen expressions on the faces of the opposition. But little did they know that on the other sideline, one man was plotting a story that football fans would never forget. Brady's eyes were locked in, and he made sure that he and the entire offense had laser focus. On the next drive, the Patriots moved down the field fluently once more, as they had done in previous possessions to no apparent avail. Brady finds James White, who begins to spring for extra yardage. Then a big fourth down conversion pass to Danny Amendola, and the Patriots are in business. 3rd and 8, Brady gets flushed out and makes a run for it. He scrambles for the first down. The drive of intent and incredible commitment from Tom Brady continues on. He finishes with a pass to James White and picks up touchdown number 1 for the New England Patriots. Finally, they found their spark. Just when you thought things couldn't get worse for the Patriots, though, Stephen Gostkowski misses the extra point and the deficit is only cut down to 19. Alas, the Patriots decide to shoot themselves in the foot again and fail at an onside kick attempt. The Falcons get the ball at the 50 and try to move down the field. The Patriots, however, have other plans. The defense comes to the party and Matt Ryan is sacked for loss, ending the drive without any points. The third quarter comes to an end and New England still trails by 19. The Patriots take over and continue to move down the field with a vengeance, Brady producing pinpoint passes time after time, ensuring that his receivers are able to get the ball. He hits every target perfectly, almost as if we're in a Pro Bowl skills showdown or something. Malcolm Mitchell and Tom Brady show off some chemistry for a couple of first downs, and of course we can never forget about James White, who really starts to come alive. He also plays a huge role later on as well. A connection between Brady and Michael Bennett takes New England inside the 10-yard line. The promising drive is ruined with 2 Falcons sacks, and the Patriots are forced to make it a 2-score game with another Gostkowski field goal. With 9:44 left in the game, it's Atlanta 28, New England 12. Matt Ryan gets the ball back and the Falcons attempt to bury the Patriots once and for all with a kill shot. However, Dante Hightower screams through the O-line on an unexpected linebacker blitz. He bursts through the rush and absolutely pops Ryan. The ball comes out and the Patriots recover. Finally, the break that the defense needed and a golden opportunity to put 6, or in their case, 8 on the board. As the Falcons defense soon learned, when Tom Brady gets the ball and the game is on the line, he rarely gives it up. As he gains towards the end zone, things are suddenly looking somewhat brighter for Patriots Nation. Brady takes a snap from the 6 on 2nd and 3 and throws to Amendola. He's in. Touchdown Patriots. Brady immediately signals for 2. James White takes a direct snap and runs it in for the 2-point conversion. The Patriots fans that were silenced at halftime in NRG Stadium have now had new life instilled within them. 5:56 left to go in the game and the Patriots were within reach of tying, just a score away. But the real worry for most of the fans was not the offense that had their Hall of Fame quarterback under center, but the defense that had come up at times in the game but had still given up 28 points prior. Everyone knew that if you put the ball in Brady's hands, he could tie the game easily. The question was, were they going to be able to hold the Falcons down for just one more drive? This question was assumed to be answered when Matt Ryan found Devontae Freeman for 40-plus yards. Things weren't looking good at all for the Pats. Everyone in the greater New England area was praying for something to happen on defense. But then, the nightmare got worse. The second Matt Ryan looked the way of his favorite target of the season, everyone had their fingers crossed. Julio Jones jumped up, reached out, and made one of the greatest catches that we'll probably see in a Super Bowl. A toe tap at almost a 45-degree angle to the ground put the Falcons in field goal range. The Patriots seemed destined to lose this game despite all their efforts. But then, something crazy happened. The Patriots got pressure onto Ryan and sacked him. Then on 3rd down, a godsend holding penalty took the Birds out of field goal range. They're forced to punt it back to the Patriots, who now have to drive 99 yards down the field in 3 minutes. Brady walks onto the heated Houston turf for the drive to end all other drives. The one that could either culminate in endless famosity or disparaging heartbreak. He starts off well, getting out of his own red zone with a conversion on third down to Chris Hogan. As the Patriots continue to move the sticks, the beating of hearts of NFL fans across the nation can be heard by the naked ear. Then, on 1st and 10, Brady sees his man Edelman behind a few defenders and decides to make the dangerous throw anyways. The ball is tipped and seems to have fallen on the floor, as Edelman and 3 other Falcons defenders converge on it. The fight for the football ensues on the field as the whistle blows. The referees come to the middle of the field and rule it a catch. On replay, it's incredible to see the way in which the receiver made such an impeccable adjustment to make sure the football never touches the ground. Absolutely unbelievable. The only way one can describe such a feat. Atlanta challenges the call and the play is reviewed. New England and Atlanta players are pointing to every screen in the stadium, hoping to make a case for themselves. But that gets overturned, and the ruling on the field stands as a completed pass. Just the magical moment that the Patriots needed to keep the already extraordinary drive going. Brady throws to White, who makes another great grab for the first down. The Patriots are at the Atlanta 1-yard line. It's now or never for them. The ball is handed off to James White on 2nd and goal, and he charges in for the touchdown. The celebrations are mild as Brady immediately raises 2 fingers to the sideline, and the decision to go for it is unanimous. Brady takes the snap quickly with 57 seconds left on the clock and throws a laser to Amendola, who just barely gets in for the touchdown. The disbelief starts to kick in for the Patriots fans, but for the players, the time to think about the comeback is not right now. The Patriots motto is do your job, and right now, the job still is incomplete. To put the cherry on top of the already incredible feat, New England wins possession of the football in overtime, and you already know whose hands they want to put it in. Tom Brady, the man who'd already inspired his team to create one of the greatest comebacks in Super Bowl history, if not all time. As Brady latched together the bright white clip of his helmet and jogged to the huddle, he looked ready to win this game, for his mother, who'd bravely battled against breast cancer to be here, and cheer her son on, for the fans that had been forced to see their superstar subdued and labeled a criminal, and for the organization that kept his faith in him despite a potentially career-ending scandal. He knew that the hopes of at least 11.5 million people rested on his shoulders. If he got it wrong, then the grueling work that he'd put in all game to reach this point would be all for nothing. He knew that this drive was one that could do justice to his legacy not just as a player, but as a human. Brady being Brady remained cool as a cucumber in the face of all this voracious pressure. Each snap he took was a calm one, each throw he made was perfect, and each receiver he hit did what they needed to do with laser focus, just like he said. Then ran back to the line of scrimmage to continue on. Pass after pass was right on the money as Brady torched the Falcons' secondary. Everything that he had found himself having to prove to the fans was perfectly put on display in this one drive. A pass interference call got the Patriots into the Falcons' red zone. Yet again, they were in prime position. The Patriots lined up on a 2nd and goal on the 2-yard line. The entire game had come down to this one play, and the Patriots knew exactly who they wanted to give the ball to.
Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his 5th! What a comeback!
They'd done it. The Patriots were Super Bowl champions. The 5th time that Brady had done it, beating the record that once seemed unbreakable. That vacancy on his final finger was about to be filled with yet another ring. After one of the worst scandals that he could have been a part of, he's taken his team to the promised land of American football superiority. I could just end the video right here saying that Brady and James White were the architects behind the entire win, but I want to use the outro to say that this was not Brady's ring, or Belichick's ring, or White's ring. It was the team's ring. The defense that had held the Atlanta offense and had shown some serious mental strength in times where 99% of players would have given up. Instead of giving up after that Julio Jones catch, they got to Matt Ryan and took the Falcons out of field goal range. Instead of aiming to just stop the Falcons, they forced a fumble and gave their team prime position to score a touchdown. This win was not about skill or talent or even ability. It was about sheer grit, about a system that can pull themselves out of the toughest situations just by doing their job and doing it well. The Patriots Network play-by-play caller Bob Sochi summed it up impeccably in his own words after the game. "You'll never see another one like this one." That's true, Mr. Sochi. I don't think we'll ever truly see another one like this one.